Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neelam and I am a second year student at IIM Udaipur. In this video, I am going to share my interview experiences at three different institutes. The first one will be the interview experience for CAP participating institute. The second one will be Vinod Gupta School of Management by IIT Kharagpur, and the third one will be FMS Delhi. Let me tell you something about myself. I have passed my high school in the year 2012 with 10 CGPA and senior secondary in the year 2014 with 82.2 percentage in CBSE board. Post that, I took a drop of 1 year for preparation of IIT JEE and I took admission in Bachelor of Technology from Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow, affiliated to Abdul Kalam Technical University, and passed out from there with 74.96 percentage and joined Tata Consultancy Services in Project Management Office. After the CAT result on 2nd of January 2021, I was sure that I am going to get at least CAP interview call. So I first prepared answers for all the questions that I have mentioned in my previous video, and you can also watch that video by pressing the I button here. I read about all the recent happenings in 1 year and specifically within 2 to 3 months, and the last thing we did was that I formed a group of 3 students who were already preparing for interviews, and we took mock interviews from the questions that I have mentioned, and so that we can practice our interview better. I got my CAP interview slot on 18 February 2021 and I was given afternoon slots. At that time, we were not given any particular order in which our interviews will proceed. So I waited for 2 hours, and after that, 2 male interviewers appeared on my screen. I was not asked the very famous question, introduce yourself. Instead, my interview started with, how did you plan to come to management after coming from an IT background? The second question was that, in your work experience, have you ever felt the need for pursuing MBA in any of the situations? So I answered these questions as I prepared earlier. Then they asked me different languages that were used in artificial intelligence. The next question I was asked was the different types of firewalls and malware. They asked me the definition of cookies. The next question was difference between HTTPS and HTTP, and if I knew any other search engines than Google. At that time, the farm laws and union budget was in headlines, so they asked me, can you tell me about any news update apart from these two? So I explained them about the new education policy. Is NEP practically possible to be implemented in India? The next question I was asked was if I knew anything about White Hat Junior and Byju's controversy. And the last question they asked me was, do you think that coding is important for a 6th grade student in India? And it all concluded with, do you have any questions for us? So this was my CAP interview experiences. The questions such as search engines and firewall and malware was based on my educational background, since I come from BTech in information technology. After my interview and after listening to interview experiences of few of my friends, I can say that you can be asked anything. So there is no fixed pattern of what type of questions you will be asked if you have a certain profile. So prepare well for all the possible questions that you can. Next, moving on to Vinod Gupta School of Management. This interview took place on 28 February 2021 and my interview slot was 9 am. The interview started on time. There were 2 male panelists, and the first question they asked me was introduce yourself. They then proceeded with questions related to my work experience, but since the work experience was related to management and they were more into technical, so there were not many questions on that. The third question I was asked was, do you know about modulation techniques used? They asked me about cache memory and the laptop configuration required for a commonly used computer. The next question they asked me was SSD and HDD, and they asked me about my preferred specialization if I have decided any. First of all, I told them that I'm open for all, but they wanted a specific answer. They asked me how you can connect your specialization with your educational background and your work experience. The next question I was asked was, what are the smart city requirements and name few smart cities which are under development right now. They asked me about major source of electricity in India and how much electricity is produced according to me. The next question was, why is India not using conventional sources of energy, and how do countries who have opted for conventional sources of energy manage if these sources of energy are not sufficient to fulfill the demands. And the last question was, how will I rate myself as per my interview performance. After this interview, I concluded that they need technical answers and not the generic ones with relevant facts and figures if you have any. The last interview of the season was for Faculty of Management Studies Delhi. It was scheduled on 26th of April 2021, and at this time Delta was at peak. So the interview started with a topic that I was given to speak on for 1 minute, and to think I was given 30 seconds. The topic was coal as a source of energy. So I spoke for 1 minute, and then the first question that I was asked was, introduce yourself, about my hobbies other than cooking. They asked me about union budget highlights, and they asked the revenue of TCS, if I knew about Tata Excellence business model and service agreement. The last question was that many people leave TCS within 2 to 3 years of their service. So, according to me, should the service agreement be extended more than 1 year or not? The FMS interview was in the online mode and it lasted for only 5 to 10 minutes. So, this was my interview experiences and few tips to prepare for that. If you need any help or guidance, you can ping me on my LinkedIn ID mentioned in the description box below, and also comment down in the video. If you liked my video and found it relevant, please share it with your friends for whom it will be helpful. For now, take care and stay healthy. Bye bye.